Well, welcome everybody to our webinar with Hurix Digital. My name is John Holdcroft. We'll do introductions here in a moment more formally, but if you're here, thank you so much for being here and taking time out of your day today. We're here to talk about tackling the challenges in large-scale assessment creation with AI. This is a specific area of AI. If you've joined here, you're probably curious about AI, either are already using it, thinking about using it, have questions about using it, and also see opportunity in using it as well. So we're really glad that you've joined. A couple of logistical things. We have disabled audio, but the chat is enabled. So you'll be able to chat and ask any question that you'd like. And either myself or my colleagues will be happy to answer it either verbally or through chat as well. I think we've allotted 1 hour for this webinar. Our presentation will probably be about 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes. And we have plenty of time to answer all questions afterwards as well. So without further ado, I'll do introductions here. My name is John Holdcroft. I'm the Senior Vice President at Hurix, in charge of business development. I live here in the United States, in Seattle, Washington. I've been with the company about 6 months. I love working with the company, including all of our AI tools and services as well. And I'm joined by Sudesna and Raul from our offices in India. And we look forward for them presenting later on here as well. So a little bit about Hurix before we dive into the AI conversation. You might be wondering who we are if you don't know who we are. Hurix is a digital services company. We work on learning content, but we do a lot more than that. We work with companies in higher education, in K-12. If you recall what publishing companies used to be a decade or so ago, we now call those content companies. Really, we transform your content if you're a content publisher or a content company. If you're an institution, we work with your content and how you want to deliver courses, namely online courses, but other things as well. We help with staff augmentation. So if you have any issues around staffing, we can help you hire people on a short-term basis for that. We do bespoke custom technology and can build things as exotic as a brand new platform to AI solutions to something as simple as 3 or 4 videos to improve your course as well. As I mentioned, we have AI solutions, and we'll be talking about one of them today called Dictera as well. Really, we have AI solutions around student needs, around instructor and leadership needs as well. And then we also have a cloud platform if people are looking for that as well. We do lots of different services, but really we're focused today around AI. So we started in India. We have 3 offices in India. We serve over 25 countries. Our area of growth and our largest customers are here in the US, and we'll talk about a few of those in a moment. We've been in the industry for 24 years. We have over 750 experts. We have a team here in North America that I work with closely around identifying opportunities and conversations and answering questions as well. We attend all the major conferences in the United States in higher education and in K-12, including EDUCAUSE, ISTE, and really any other major conference as well. All right, we do have a couple of polls throughout the conversation. I hope that you enjoyed them and feel like it's a good way to be engaged. So I am going to stop and allow our poll to begin, and I will also stop sharing.
So moving on, let me just start as in, of course, all of us have come up with some expectations from this webinar today. However, welcome you all to our webinar on hassle-free assessment. Assessments are critical tools that are required for learning and development. And often, while we build large-scale assessments, we come up with a lot of challenges wherein we have to manage complex workflows. There's a lot of time consumption, there's stress that happens around, and then we are stuck in producing great quality assessments. So today we'll explore some of the innovative streamlined approaches to making our assessments smoother, more efficient, and more impactful. So from this session, what we'll come out with is what are the practical strategies or tools that you can use to simplify your assessment creation processes. So let's make assessments hassle-free together today. The problems that we face that we need to address, right? As we have called out here, you can see quality assurance challenges. So when we have a large scale assessment production, what happens is of course, there are qualities that get hit, right? We all strive to maintain the quality across, but then there can be some alignment with the standards issue, there can be some errors in the accuracy, and most importantly, there can be plagiarism in the play, right? So quality assurance challenges. Moving on to the creativity, it might happen that we are, somewhere compromising on balancing the difficulty level of the questions. Maybe the questions become a little repetitive. The intent of the question might be right, but it might look repetitive when a complete slot of questions are getting generated. It takes a lot of time, right? There's a high volume requirement. There are multiple review cycles that happens. There can be structural and technical issues, which could lead to, maybe poor formatting. There could be some errors in the grammar. There might be some poor metadata management in the background. And the most important thing is the cognitive load, right? The subjectivity in the question design, which is a very important factor when it comes to creating assessments for universities, for institutions, where we would really need to maintain the design in which the question is getting generated, right? Which is a important task for all the assessment writers, right? And then the feedback incorporation. Obviously, when we have questions in the play, we would also have subject matters experts reviewing those questions. They would be giving their feedback, which can again, when we have multiple feedback coming into picture, there can be misalignment, there can be conflicting review of feedbacks. So all those things managing together and, releasing assessments at a large scale somewhere down the line impacts the quality, the pedagogical aspects of an item.
So Desna, just a thought there. When we work with our clients and our people that are looking at what we're trying to do, they have lots of pressure to make sure they are assessing, and teachers do this very well individually and one-on-one, but schools are looking to do this at scale, and there's so many changes around what assessments are. Workforce expectations can be different, so the school's assessments need to be different. This can sometimes reflect in a lack of quality or creativity because people are just trying to churn things out. So do you have any recommendations on how people handle large scale assessments while keeping quality and creativity in mind?
Great question, John. That's what we are here all for, to understand what people can do as of today to maintain the quality of assessments when they are creating it at a large scale. Let's look at the next slide. So this is where I bring in our product, Dictera. Dictera goes beyond being just an AI-powered assessment tool. It's a complete, comprehensive solution that addresses all the challenges that we looked into right now. It tackles the complexity and challenges of a large-scale assessment creation. So we are leveraging advanced AI technology to streamline the entire process, for question generation to validation to ensuring the efficiency, accuracy, and scalability maintained across. It also empowers the assessment writers, to save time, reduce effort, and focus on what truly matters for them while they are creating the questions, which is delivering quality learning and meaningful outcomes. So Dictera brings in AI-based assessment creation and validation process. It empowers with a robust workflow management. So that's a major, I would say, feature that Dictera has. It has a very robust workflow. There are, you can manage your workflows the way you want. You can bring in different stages. You can bring in multiple review cycles and track them easily within Dictera. There's also dashboard metrics, which gives an overall idea of where our assessments or projects are as of today. And there's a complete transparency from item development to the delivery of the item in a real-time monitoring world. Yeah, so there is a complete transparency in the entire life cycle of a question item getting generated and finally getting published, for the learners to consume. Currently, from Dictera, the questions can be exported as QTI and they can then be ingested into an LMS for consumption. moving on, how Dictera works as of today, right? So Dictera doesn't just have an automation or an AI platform in the background. It also has human expertise, human touch to every step that Dictera takes. Okay. The AI model that we have in the background, it works in generating assessment item. It also checks and corrects those items, against some of the quality parameters that has been defined for a particular question item to get generated. Yeah. So multiple things that are being taken care of, human touch in uploading the standards, uploading the blueprint, reviewing the questions that are coming up apart from what Dictera is already doing in the background. So Dictera does one level of check. It checks the quality against all the parameters that we have set. It gives us the report. On top of that, there's a human touch, and then there's a final question going out of Dictera. Some of the modules that we have right now, which are, I would just touch base at a high level, as we just spoke about, we have dashboard, we have project management, workflow management, roles and permissions where different roles can be created within Dictera and different permissions allocated to each role. And then we can onboard team members and assign them to each role. For example, you have a author, you have a reviewer, you have a publisher, three different roles. There can be multiple people, enrolled or onboarded onto Dictera, and then each of them assigned to one of the roles that they perform within Dictera while they are going through the entire project or the entire, job creation. So in Dictera terms, project management is a kind of a complete, chapter or a course management or a program management. For example, we have a book, right? Let's look at the, lowest term. Let's have a book. A book can be a project within Dictera. So it has multiple chapters. Each chapter can have its own load of assessments, questions generated. And hence, that is the entire project management where we take that, okay, this as a whole is a project. Now it has to be managed through a workflow, to a team of people who are assigned different roles, and each one of them can go and then work on different jobs, which is the lowest level of assessment, which can be maybe a number of 10 items or maybe a number of 50 items, yeah, depending upon the volume of assessment that we are going to create.
So that's not a question, but I just want to make a quick comment as well that I could have made earlier. And that is, to be clear, this is an authoring platform for content. It is not replacing your campus LMS that you work with. So we deliver this content through your LMS. So if you use Canvas or Brightspace or whichever one of the Moodle, any of these, we're not asking you to change that. Our content is delivered through that to the student. So just to be clear, we're not asking anyone to change that. We work with all the LMSs via an LTI connection. And then my question, Sadesna, so I get a lot of feedback. Everybody is doing assessments and everybody is doing some aspect of them effectively. How do you feel like Hurix's solution will help with having consistent high quality assessments and being able to mimic that throughout each of the chapters or modules?
Thank you, John, for asking that question. I'll take it up. So basically, we follow a very unique approach where we have AI engines that generate the questions. The generated questions are then fed to another AI engine that acts as a review agent, and it has a checklist already curated over there to evaluate the generated question from another AI. So two AIs are working together. One is generating, one is reviewing. That ensures that we are not missing out any educational standards. So this is how our AI platform helps in identifying whether the questions generated are correct or not and ensure that they are of the highest quality.
Thanks, Rahul. Hope, John, this answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, let's move on. As we spoke about, maintaining the quality, the standard of the question that we are generating, let me just bring up one point wherein, we have standards and originality in the assessment item that is getting created, right? So there are a set of standards that has been configured in the background of Dictera, which the AI refers to, the AI model refers to, and then basis on those standards, it then generates questions, right? It also tries to maintain the originality of each question. So there are a list of, it helps to align the assessments with established standards. It ensures that the assessments are reliable, measurable, and relevant to the learning objectives against which we are generating the questions, right? They always help. The checklist parameters, the standards, they help in creating balanced assessments, right? That challenges students effectively while maintaining the academic integrity. Yeah. So some of the checklist parameters, as you see, is already built into Dictera. So we do all these checks, any plausible distractors, we look for any parallel structure, we do non-negative phrasing, right, in order to avoid any confusion or to, have a fair challenge, right? So there can be questions, there can be words which are negative in phrasing. So Dictera is prompt enough to actually highlight that, right, to the writers so that they know, okay, these are some of the errors already identified by Dictera. We need to fix them to go ahead. If it is not required, maybe for your, standard, then you can obviously, ignore that or solve that and move ahead in the flow. However, Dictera has a very major thing here that, until the checklist parameters, the highlighted errors are not solved or resolved, we cannot move ahead in the flow or in the workflow of assessment creation, right? It stops from the first stage of authoring to the publishing because it has found errors in the question item. Moving on, there are, Dictera also has a human in the loop, as I just spoke about. How it works is that, in the workflow, the item generation is done. As I spoke about a structured automated workflow that you can create within Dictera, each of your project, each of your book can have its own workflow, okay? It might just have author, reviewer, publisher. It might just have author or publisher directly, or just, you can give any name, assessment writer, publisher, you can name anything. You can put them anywhere in the workflow, design a complete, workflow as per your needs, and then run the entire project. Yeah. So it starts with item generation. Obviously, once it is created, validated by Dictera, it goes for a human validation. So this is where the human comes in the loop. And it's a continuous collaboration that happens within Dictera, right? There's a continuous collaboration, real-time editing, tracking those changes, right? Who has made the edits? What edits have been made? Adding comments to your question items that are created. They can be a reviewer, can be a publisher who can come in and add comments. So, and there's also a built-in chat within Dictera. So everything here is getting tracked. You do a real-time editing, you do a real-time collaboration while going through the entire assessment workflow. Moving to the advanced features. Now, before I go ahead and explain what are the advanced features that Dictera has, I would really like to know from our attendees here in the webinar, do you understand the difference between a clone and an enemy item? So in an assessment, in a pool of, questions, what is a clone and what is an enemy? People, the attendees who are aware of it can give us a thumbs up. And attendees who are not aware, you can always give a thumbs down so that we get to know. Are you aware of what is an enemy item or what is a clone item in the assessment world? Oh, I can see some of the thumbs up coming up. Great to see that people are aware of this. However, let me just explain that. A clone or an enemy. What is an enemy item, right? How do you know that it's an enemy item or an enemy question when you are in a pool of questions, right? So enemy items refer to pair of questions or answer options that conflict with one another. Yeah. So they are in conflict in the sense that they provide clues or answers to one another within the same assessment. Yeah. Either it can be a question, it can be an option. But what happens is that it is enemy of the other. That means it is giving an answer which will lead the learner to answer the next question. Okay, somewhere it is giving a clue. That's an enemy. Coming to clone can be, sets of questions or options that are created on the same concept knowledge area, but with different angles. However, what happens is they might have the same context, they might have the same intent, but the questions are, almost same. They are just slightly different versions of each other. Yeah. So that's where your clone items and the enemy item differentiation comes into picture. I hope now everybody can give me a thumbs up to say that yes, they understood in the assessment world what is a clone item and what is an enemy item. Okay, thank you. Thank you all. Let's now move into, now that we have understood what features Dictera has at a very high level, now let's go into and look at the platform to see what Dictera looks like. So we went through a lot of features. We also went through how Dictera is going to solve all our problems, all the areas that we identified. Now we quickly look into how Dictera works. Yeah. So I just sign in. So once I sign in, I'm taken to the projects page. Yeah. I'll just quickly show you how the dashboard looks like as of today. It's an analytical dashboard. We can get to see all the projects that is being worked upon. As I'm an admin of the platform, I have a complete analytics idea of each project. What is the state? How many jobs are running? What are the different question items created? What are the different stages in which the jobs are as of today? And then I can also quickly look into some of the jobs here listed down. Projects, as I explained, at a high level can be a book, right? Where we have multiple chapters, and then each chapter can have its own load of question items or assessments created. Quickly, we will just go through each one of them. We have a roles and permissions, as we spoke about. Create your own roles, assign them. So this is how you can create a new role, assign different kinds of permissions to that role. And once you create a role, then you can onboard team members and assign them to each of the role. Yeah, that's how the role management, the team management comes into picture. We also have a content structure wherein you can define the structure of your, project. That could be a complete book, as I spoke about. So this structure of, chapter, topic, subtopic, or a lesson, module, submodule, and then you can create this and reuse it wherever required. So it's just a standard structure that you're creating, and not just going through the structure again and again, but creating it for the ones that you need and use it as is. Moving on to the workflow management. Workflows, as I explained, we can create new workflow. I'll just show you the one that we have as default. So you can create workflow with different roles, and then you can draw the line connecting each one of them to make the platform understand how an assessment item has to flow through the entire cycle. Yeah, we'll quickly move into jobs just to see how a job is created. So we'll just go into new job. So now coming to this job creation, right? Item creation. Dictera gives you 3 different options, yeah, to create job. One is you do that manually, yeah. Select number of questions you want to select. You have question templates available. Just manually go ahead and create questions, right? Like we had in the old times. The other one is auto-generate the questions through AI, yeah. And then the final one you see is the blueprint, which is the most important one, because this is the most, the one that you have speed, you have accuracy in creating questions. Yeah. You get through structured questions. Up to 50 questions can be created at one time using the blueprint, right, guys? So you can understand how, how efficient the platform is, and how can just a CSV file just be uploaded onto the platform and allow the platform to create, around 50 questions as you want. So I'll just quickly show you how the blueprint looks like. So this is how a blueprint looks like. It's a standard CSV file or an Excel file to say. These are different, you can give the standard name. This is just a sample members. Skill statement, cognitive level, difficulty level, item type that you want, item number that you want, right? Maybe you want 5 questions for fill in the blanks. Maybe you need 5 questions for multiple choice. And then you can give an example. This is optional, not required. So this way you can fill up the CSV, upload the CSV back to Dictera, and then run it as a query in the background for the platform to go ahead and generate 50 questions for you at one go. Yeah. We'll quickly see how the auto generation works. I will just fill in the name, number of items. Let me just say 2. Description is not required. So we'll just give a context. We can give a standard as a context. You can also add some content as a context and click on next. Now it will ask us to select the question template. So as you see here in Dictera, we have different types of question templates. Multiple choice, we have standard single select, multi-select, we have true or false type questions. Fill in the blanks, we have normal fill in the blanks, type in questions. We also have closed drag and drop questions. You can also create a drop-down question, right? FIB with drop-down, open-ended questions where we can have essay type answers, and then finally the match and order type of questions. So these are some of the question item types that are currently available within Dictera. We are having more question item types that are coming up in the roadmap, which we will see towards the end of the webinar. So let me just go in and select, okay, I need to create 2 questions and then click on generate. So if you see here, it is given a pop-up that it will get generated within 2 minutes. Let me close that. If you see here, the prompt has been sent and it is working in the background to generate questions for me. In the meantime, we can look at the advanced feature that we spoke about, which is the clone and the enemy. Yeah. So if you see here, when the questions get generated, the platform directly tells you that whether there is a clone and an enemy there or not. Yeah. And when you open that question, it will actually call out that, yes, this is a clone as well as an enemy. Yeah, that's how the platform highlights the errors to us. If you see here, again, these are different errors that it has highlighted, right? Basis on the standards or the parameters that we have set in the background. Rahul, just bringing up one question here. So the parameters that we see, right, the checklist parameters, are they configurable?
Hey, hi Sudeshna. Thank you for asking that question. So basically, Dictera is curated in a way that it takes care of maximum of the parameters by itself. But let's say if a client or customer have a requirement for additional parameters to be inserted and needed for some external checks, so it can be doable. Dictera is fully configurable product, and they can configure the checklist by their end as well. So
Okay.
yeah, it is configurable. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for answering that. So yeah, as you understand, basis on the configuration, the Dictera will highlight the errors that it has come across, and then also the clone and the enemy items.
Sadesna, while I give you a moment to catch your breath, I just wanted to mention how we work with clients that use services like this, and some folks will use a lot of this kind of in a self-serve model, but I want to be clear that we have full project management and full support and full training for those clients that use a product like this to get you off and running and have regularly scheduled weekly meetings as needed for you. So if you were to work with us around this, you'll have content matter experts like Sadesna and Rahul, but also other people here at Hurix that will help you as you use this tool. So just wanted to mention that.
Thanks, John. Of course, we provide help videos. We'll also be providing user manual, and we'll be also conducting trainings so that your teams are up and running to use Dictera full-fledged. So the ones which we had just given, a shout out to the AI model in the background to generate the question for us. It has already done that. As you can see in the question item, the stem has come up. We have different options. It has also given us the right option with the solution description there. As we spoke about, there are bugs that can be identified. You can add metadata to the question. We can do a plagiarism check for the question, whether it is an authentic question that has been generated through AI, or is it pulling this from somewhere else? Yeah, that comes with a live report. We can add our comments as a reviewer. We can check the history of the entire, question from start to the end, the logs that I was talking about. And then finally, you also have a, messaging system where you can track changes. You can also have an instant chat where you can chat with the other members in the platform. Yeah. If I want to view the question, I can always go ahead and view it, how it will look like in the preview window. I can save the question. I can move ahead in the cycle, move ahead telling that, okay, this question is fine, well, good, let's go ahead. Everything is hunky-dory. And then we move ahead from the creation till the closure of the question. We also have a major feature here, which is a real-time collaboration. So once this question moves, right, in the workflow from authoring to reviewing to publishing. So in the reviewing stage, if you have multiple reviewers, you can real-time check and look at what the other person is reviewing and giving a feedback on. So those can be captured real-time, can be monitored real-time. We can see, reviewer 1 and reviewer 2 working together, adding their comments, and that getting saved real time, like it happens on Google Documents or on SharePoint documents, where we can live track what each one is adding as a feedback or making change to the question item or giving their comments against this question. Okay, now that we know, right, what is Dictera, how it works, let's just go back to our presentation. We have understood, we have come across a lot of features. We saw how Dictera works. I would ask Saga to release the second poll, where we just want to understand, what feature of Dictera do you think is beneficial for you? Or what problem would you like to solve using Dictera immediately? Because you can see the product is up and running. It works perfectly fine. What is it that we want to solve today? Attendees, the poll is open. Please go ahead and select your option. You can also provide your answers in the chat to us. The poll will be open for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, if we're not capturing all of the options, feel free to add your own in chat.
Okay, thank you all for answering the poll. I'll just close the poll now. Quick recap on what we went through today. We understood what are the different challenges that we face in real world while we are creating large scale assessments. We understood how Dictera works in solving those problems that we face, all the challenges that we face, how we have a complete workflow management, a feedback collaboration management. We have a complete AI which runs on different LLM models in the background. There are different ways in which you can generate assessments in Dictera, not just one. There's always a human in the loop. You can use a blueprint mechanism to generate 50 questions, a large scale assessment at one time. You can also do manual generation. And for 5 to 10 questions, you can always go through the AI generation mode. Apart from that, there's the roles and permissions, team management functionality that comes up. We also understood what is the difference between a clone item and an enemy item in a pool of question items in an assessment. Now that we have done a quick recap, let me just, bring this question up to you guys. Do you think Dictera is just an AI-powered assessment generation platform? I would ask you all to think again. Dictera is evolving into a comprehensive suite of innovative products, all harnessing the power of AI to simplify tasks and make our lives easier. In order for that, we are bringing to you Dictera 2.0 suite, which is coming soon, which is the first part you saw was the assessment generation platform. Now Dictera will be coming up 2.0 suite with a multiple list of products as you see here. We are bringing in more additional question item types as you can see on the screen. We are having a course creator using Dictera, an AI automated platform which can help you create courses on the fly, right? AI tutor giving tutoring services, VivaBot giving assessment, where you can have Viva assessment in the course itself. We have essay grading, we have role play coming up. fact checker. We already have accessibility auditor, all text generator with us built and running. You can go into our website and, have a accessibility audit done of your websites or of any course you want to. We already have an all text generator that's live and working. And then we have a metadata enrichment AI platform as well, product which is part of the Dictera 2.0 suite. However, looking at the time constraint, we cannot go through all of these, but I would just quickly show you how the course creator looks like and how it works as of today. Yeah, and obviously there are multiple things that are going to come up as part of this, but just to give you a slight glimpse of how it looks like as of today, what we are trying to build in, this is how the dashboard is going to look like of the course creator. And giving you a quick glimpse how we can create that. So you can come here, create course manually or using Dictera Assistant. Let me just click on create now. When I do that, I come into a page where it asks me to create a course. And in order to do that, first thing, of course, I need to give a skill name for which I want to generate a course. Let me just type in the skill name here. Risk qualifications. Once I do that, it will then ask me, okay, give me a skill statement against which you want to create a course. And then I can just go ahead. Let me just add a skill statement here and then click on it. Yeah. Once I do that, we are creating a course outline for you, right? So Dictera is not just dumping content from me through AI. It's also creating a complete outline of the course. So we can just have a look at the outline, which will have learning objectives, which will have its own, so if you see here, it's just come up. It has now generated, right, learning objectives for me. It has generated unit 1. It has generated micro learning units against it. So with a lot of information that Dictera produces in a course creation module, as you can see here, right? And in case if I want, of course, I would want to create an entire course. So if you see here, at first level, the course outline has brought in units, multiple units. I can see here, if I scroll down, 4 units called out with a lot of micro learning units within it. It has given a lot of learning objectives that are mapped to those units. And then basis on that, we can just go ahead, ask it to create course content for us. Yeah. That's how, so the way it created the outline, it will start on creating course content chapter by chapter, unit by unit for us. That was a quick glimpse. We are coming up with the a full-fledged demo of Dictera 2.0 suite in the coming year. And then once we have that, we'll give you a complete detailed demo of how these products are going to work within the Dictera suite. Now that we've yes, John, sorry.
I just want to point out, there's been a couple of questions that have been asked and I believe answered. I just want to make sure we're keeping up to date and on track. So there's a question about image-based questions, which Raul answered. I hope people can see that in the chat, as well as wondering about a white labeled version of the tool. So looks like we've asked that. And then how many languages does it support was the last question asked most recently. And thank you, Robbie, for answering that. We have a roadmap to include additional languages, including Spanish, but right now it's just in English. Anyway, excuse me for interrupting you.
That's fine. So we just bringing up benefits of Dictera. We have already spoken a lot about what benefits we can get. However, just to brief you towards the end of the webinar, it's scalable, it's efficient, it ensures all the compliances, the comprehensive checklist, automated processes, the guidelines that we follow in generating the questions. It is collaborative and transparent, as you just saw, how we can collaborate between different team members, how the feedbacks get captured, and how transparent the platform is for everyone to view. And there is a thorough quality control that happens with the advanced identification of enemy and variant items. We also ensure that you get a diverse and balanced assessment pool where you have diverse question items within an assessment. You can also have different standards on it, different difficulty level, different, pedagogy level that you want to have for the question. So you can just create a mix of different types of questions just in a single shot using Dictera. Thank you all for attending the webinar for today. And over to you, John.
Yeah, thank you, Sudeshna. And we can stay on for a few more minutes. I know we're where I am. We've got about 10 more minutes, but happy to wrap up if there's no further questions. We just wanted to say that we appreciate people joining. If you want to learn more, we have here on this slide, and maybe Sagar, could I ask you to put that that email alias in the chat as well, if anybody wants to copy it. We'd be happy to talk with you. Also, we're going to be doing some outreach and sending you a follow-up email, and we'd like your honest feedback around how this was helpful. We hope to do more of these series and plan to, and would love for people like you that are listening to us to give us honest feedback around, would you like to hear more of something? Would you like a more technical conversation? Would you like a less technical conversation, or other speakers as well? So we're open to that, and you'll be seeing an email from us as well. Are there other questions? I just want to ask that out loud. I know that people can't answer verbally, but those of you listening, do you have other questions that any of the panelists or myself can answer? Please feel free in the next couple of minutes to drop that in chat. We'll be happy to talk about those live or answer them in chat as well. So thank you all so much for joining. We really appreciate it. We'll stay here on the line for a minute or two longer, and everybody have a wonderful holiday season, however you celebrate, and we really appreciate people's participation. Thank you so much.